For me, Impulse was never a stove company. Even though we got famous for making a really sick stove, our ambitions are so much grander than that. By putting batteries in these appliances, you could basically connect all of the batteries together in a way that acted like a virtual power plant. Virtual power plants are frequently referred to as VPPs. During the day, you might be buying electricity that's produced by a solar panel, right, out on some solar farm. But at night, when the sun has gone down, there's a really good chance that you are buying power from a power plant that is probably burning natural gas in order to produce that electricity. That happens to be when most people are coming home from work. That's when they're cooking, that's when they're running the laundry, that's when they're running the dishwasher, it's when they're using all of their electric appliances. What a virtual power plant does, it makes it so that you don't have to buy the dirty and expensive kind of energy. What happens is you come home from work, you turn on your electric stove and your dryer and your washer and the dishwasher and whatever. Because you have energy storage built into every single one of your devices, the energy that you're using isn't being made right then, but it was actually made much earlier in the day when the sun was out and there was a bunch of extra energy because nobody was home, running their appliances. So that extra energy was being charged into all of your appliances and all of the batteries in all of your appliances. So as soon as you got home, that energy was there waiting for you, and it was cheap and it was clean. In a virtual power plant future, what that means is it's not just you, but it's all of your neighbors, batteries, and it's the people down the street. We're all able to kind of share and coordinate these resources so that there's a bunch of intelligent energy deployment exactly when and where you need it.
The larger the amount of distributed storage, the more opportunity we have to use that storage. 3 kilowatt hours is very useful for the stove and maybe offsetting some of your usage inside your home. Once you have 2, 3, 4 appliances, once you have 12 kilowatt hours of stored energy in a home because you have multiple Impulse appliances, well, all of a sudden that becomes really interesting.
This is something where if you can convince people to install a cool stove because it's just better as a stove, you've now snuck this virtual power plant onto the grid without having to necessarily get permits or do any sort of negotiation. You can permissionlessly upgrade the grid with this new power plant just by selling a better product. And this actually means that you kind of change the dynamics of how the energy system works. That puts a lot more control into the end devices, the end user, than in the legacy systems that were much more centralized.